Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's broadcast at Worldwide. Actually, this is a really long name for this one. This is going to be Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway, located in Madison, Illinois. 1.25 mile long asphalt track. And of course, with me here tonight, Alan Cahaley. How's it going?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic. Looking for some exciting racing here tonight. Kind of a new track for me. Like I said before, don't really know a whole lot about this, but luckily you've done your work and you've actually talked to some of the drivers tonight.
Yeah, first of all, just looking at it, it's basically a little bit bigger version of Darlington, but kind of flipped the way Darlington was before the mid 90s when they put the start finish line on the backstretch where it is today. That used to be the front stretch. And so, it's a very tight turns 1 and 2, and then a little bit more open turns 3 and 4. So what we've heard is that predictably turns 1 and 2 are indeed very tight. The braking zone going into the turn is very small, so it's going to be very easy for these guys to overshoot turn 1 and go into the wall. But then all of a sudden, coming out of the turn, it gets very loose. And so that is definitely going to be the main area of concern here tonight. The fuel window is about 55 to 60 laps. So, we'll see if these guys can make it to that point. From what we've heard, it sounds like once these cars get spread out, they'll be fine. We should see some long runs. It's getting spread out that will be the issue tonight.
Absolutely, and we want to give a big shout out to McConey Setup Shop for the night's race at 120 laps here at the Worldwide. This can be such a long name. I'm just going to call it Worldwide Raceway just to make it easier for the broadcast. So long race here tonight. Fuel run again going to be about 55 to 60 laps as well too. And of course, we have to thank the IROC Challenge Series for letting us broadcast these races in this series in general. Obviously, Loud Pedal Gaming, R&R Racewear, and now Hydrotech PC coming aboard for a new sponsorship. So huge thank you to all those guys. Hopefully some of them are watching here tonight. But let's kind of go over a little bit of the rules here. For tonight's race, like I stated before, 120 laps going into tonight. Actually have 3 sets of tires. Typically they do run 2 limits, but now we're looking at 3. 1 fast repair with 3 green white checkers. So far they've been doing pretty well. Dover was, even though we had a lot of cautions going on throughout the night, overall the pacing at Dover was pretty fun.
Yeah, certainly wasn't bad. We were able to kind of get the best of both worlds. We saw a lot of, hard hits, but at the same time, we saw some good racing too, especially at the end. So, hopefully we get that same thing here today. I think we're going to be able to see some green flag runs, something we didn't get a whole lot of at Dover. But this is probably the tightest setup these cars have had since the season began. So I think we're going to see some pretty long green flag runs here tonight.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to mention too while we get into this is actually look at the standings, because it hasn't really changed quite a bit coming from Dover. Brian McCann, even though he did finish top 3 there at Dover, is still sitting in first at 210 points. Neil Quick at 191 sitting second. Brandon Mefford third at 160. Kevin McCann unfortunately did not make it for Dover. Only really lost him 2 spots, dropped down to 4th since Dover at 152 points. Chris Wally up to 5th, gaining a position off of that at 142, tied with Mike Harper, which is actually pretty surprising seeing him still up front, as he went through a lot of trouble at Dover, was involved in a decent amount of crashes as well too, so he's still securing that 5th place position. Alan Warnecki and sitting 7th at 138. Jarrett Widener at 8th position at 137. Evan Faust and Joshua Funkhauser both tied for 9th at 136 points, and only a point separating 7th to 10th. So anybody can take those spots here tonight. So of course, a long race, 120 laps. I don't really know much about the race, so I don't know how tires are gonna have a factor here.
Yeah, it sounds, from what we've heard, the setup is going to start off very loose for a short couple of laps, and it quickly tightens up in the middle of the turn. So I think there's going to be a pretty quick runoff. Maybe not quite as bad as what we have seen in the past, but yeah, I mean these cars are definitely, their main goal is going to be to stay off the wall. I mean, to brake at the right times and just not get on that wall, because these turns are pretty tight. It's one of those where you have to worry about. There's certain places where once you tap the wall, it's very, very difficult to get off of it until you get on the brakes and basically slow your car down to half speed. So that's what you don't want to do. That's when you lose a ton of time all in one turn. And, obviously the more times you tap the wall, the more damage your car is going to be. So that's going to be the main role tonight, to just stay off the wall, but at the same time, you don't want to spin coming off these turns as well.
Yeah, as of right now, watching Brian McCann, the leader coming into tonight, running some laps. He's out on the track, just finished with his out lap. Currently, right now, Joshua Funkhauser sitting in first at a 34.06. So, and just as I say that, Kevin McCann comes out of nowhere and takes that position away at a 34.027. Let's see if his brother Brian can do something here. Talk about McCann's quite a bit. These guys seem to dominate in most of the tracks throughout. That's why they are in the top 5 in points. But Brian McCann seems to be the one that really understands the majority of the tracks.
And oh yeah, definitely. And he just finished his first lap at 34.125. That's good for 4th place currently. But actually, Chris Mefford, the winner from last week, has outdone both of them. Currently the pole sitter with a 33.883. That is a quick time. That beats McCann's time by almost 0.3.
Jeez. Yeah, so Chris Medford, one of the new drivers here, won at Dover last week. First race of the series, first win of the series, and now he's giving the McCann brothers a run for their money. 33.8 is extremely quick amongst everyone else, but even then, only a tenth, almost a full tenth off of Brian McCann, which is, I mean, that's still quick.
Yeah, and Brian's second lap was much, much better. Very close for both of them, but so far Chris Mefford still hanging on to the pole. Again, a 33.883. Brian McCann, his second lap was much better, finished just behind Mefford with a 33.897. So not much of a difference there, about 100th of a second is the difference between the pole and second place so far.
And on board with Chris as he comes across for his second lap, outbeats his first lap. 34.167 is going to be good for 7th place. Looks like we got a couple more people. Colt Cecil out on track right now as well. Let's see how he does here. I'm not sure. I think this is his first lap out. See him coming off a turn forward. This is a really long front stretch, so I think that's where that braking point really is going to matter, like you were talking about in turns 1 and 2. I think just because of how long that front stretch is why that braking zone is so small.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're carrying a lot of speed going into 1. So yeah, that's going to be where these races are, make or break. And by the way, this is one of the only tracks that I've ever seen with a Porta-John on it. Did you see that on the backstretch?
I did.
Yeah.
I have a backstretch camera. Let's take a look after Colt finishes this lap.
Yeah, it's that little area that pops out on the outside where the wall opens up. There is a Porta-John over there.
Backstretch camera doesn't do any
unfortunately
justice.
Not be able to see it. We'll take a look at it on the pace lap. That's pretty funny there.
I'm gonna take just a quick break real quick because the sound on my side is a little low. Give me just a second here. There we go. Alright, sorry about that. For some reason the cars were really quiet on my side, so I got that fixed up, and looks like we're going to gridding, so let's go ahead and get through the field here at tonight's race. Load up a couple of guys real quick. Alright. R&R Raceway sponsoring at the starting grid here. Chris Medford in row 1 with Brian McCann. Row 2, Joshua Funkhauser and Kevin McCann. Row 3, Colt Cecil and Vincent Short. Row 4, Jesse B. King and Neil Quick.
And row 5, we've got Chris Wally and Evan Faust. Row 6, Matt Henry and Tim Schofield. Row 7, Kyle Pendergraft and Jeffrey Gilbalt. And row 8, Paul Buzzle and Jimmy Frazier.
Row 9, we got Stoney Benfield and David Trumbley. Row 10, Dakota Clark and Mike Harper. Row 11, Wyatt Hedrick and Alan Warnecke. Row 12, Jarrett Widener and Hunter Clark.
And to round it out, we have Brad McDaniel and Ken Harper, and starting last will be Cody and Jorgensen. Now we do have a little bit of drama already. Wyatt Hedrick has disconnected because he was disqualified for spinning out during the qualifying. So that's an interesting development there, not even making it to the race because of a spin out during qualifying.
So like a actual wreck, like a single car spin for him?
I believe so. And I don't know if that's a league rule or if iRacing disqualified him for some reason, but he is not in. He is disconnected.
Huh. Well, that's unfortunate for Wyatt Hedrick there in the 22. Interesting. I don't think I've ever been disqualified from qualifying. So very, very interesting. So gonna be a great run here tonight. Looking forward to see what Chris Medford and Brian McCann can do. I do want to go over just the sponsors again. Hydrotech PC, specializing in custom liquid cool PC design, fabrication, and assembly for homes, businesses, events, and gaming. You can find them over at hydrotechpc.com. Makoni Setup Shop over at makonisetupshop.com. Custom setups that allow you to actually kind of customize it with a builder one-on-one, which is really cool.
Porta John.
Oh, yeah, there it is. They specialize in oval racing from anywhere from late models up to Cup Series. Their setups run $5 a piece with discounts at 6 setups and 12. So definitely check them out if you're looking for some custom setups here on your iRacing needs. So thank you again, guys, for the sponsors. Obviously, R&R Raceway at r-rrraceway.com for racing apparel and diecast, and Loud Pedal Gaming over at facebook.com/Loud Pedal Gaming. Gotta say a lot before this green flag comes down. Getting down to it. Pace cars off, coming to the front stretch, and green flag is in the air. And Chris Medford and Brian McCann almost still side by side going into turn 1. We'll see how these guys round out here. See a couple of guys trying to trade positions on the backstretch, seeing what's going to get going here. And just like that, looks like we already have a battle. Kevin McCann taking the lead from Chris. And now his brother.
We've got a car that just got loose in turn 4. He was able to save it. It was Vincent Short. He was almost going around in the turn, but was somehow able to hang on to it.
Back up front, we got Colt Cecil battling Chris Medford in the 46. Going to take that position away as well. Guys kind of scrambling, but there's enough room on this track, it looks like, to kind of get everywhere.
We do have a caution,
just
by the way.
like that. Caution is out.
It's going to be the 96 of David Trumbley went around in turn 1. And so that's the first of what could be many self-spins in turn 1.
Take a look at that. Just 1 second. All right, it's 96 David Trumbley. Looks like he's battling Frazier here going into 1. Oh, Short. He just runs up the track. Short gets into the back of him, nowhere to really go. And then Warnecke kind of finishes him off there. But at that point, already lost control of the car. So a little bit of help, but it looks like he just kind of sent it in pretty hard.
Yeah, the good news is I don't see anybody spending their fast repair there. Nobody really had that much damage during that. Even Trumbley's car doesn't look too bad. A little bit of rear end damage, but nothing too bad. I think he'll get a little bit of that damage fixed and head back out. And actually, he's not even going to pit. Never mind.
Yeah, we had a car through the grass. The 32 of Brad McDaniel trying to avoid that as well too. But first caution out tonight on lap 2, lap 3?
Yeah, it was coming around to take lap 3. So looks like Alan Wernicke did come into the pits. He actually asked for an end of longest line penalty during the pace lap. So I think he realized that he was going to get off to a little bit of a slow start there, but so far he's been okay. Cody and Jorgensen also took a pit stop there. I'm guessing he maybe took a little bit of damage there because he did start dead last. So, but everybody looks okay overall. David Trumbley is the last car currently on the pace lap. Those two that went into pit will get caught up, but even he does not look damaged. So, everybody I think was able to get by without too much of an issue there.
So the interesting thing about tonight's setup, they typically run fixed setups at most of their tracks, but it looks like they're going to be using a modified version of Five Flags Speedway, which we were taking a look at that, and it's crazy the differences between the two tracks. You got a 1.5 mile long track here at Gateway, and then you have a half a mile track at Five Flags, and they just basically altered the gearing in that as well too. So kind of interesting to see how a half mile track setup can kind of still be useful in a 1.5 miles.
Yeah, my guess is that they kind of took a track that, with turns that are kind of in between turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and just tried to make the best of it. So, theoretically, you want it to be loose in the tighter turn and then a little, or is it the opposite? I'll get back to you.
Oh man, I don't think Five Flags is on their schedule either. I would love to see these cars race on a half-mile track at Five Flags. Holy crap! Could you imagine? It would be insanity.
Yeah, you want a setup that's a little bit tight in the tighter turn, but then a little bit looser in the wider turns. So that's what I was trying to say there.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Well, I don't know if I went over the banking. I love talking about banking at tracks. The banking here in turns 1 and 2, 11 degrees. Bankings in 3 and 4, only 9 degrees. So a pretty flat track compared to some of the other tracks these guys race at as well, too. How much does that have of effect on tire wear?
It definitely has a lot. I mean, banking always helps with tire wear, makes it easier on them in the turns. But, I think that's why this track feels and looks bigger than it is, because of that flat banking. They have to really slow down the car in the turns. So, I don't think that. I think that as much as they have to slow down and as much as they have to use their brakes, it's probably not as bad on tires as you would think. But still, even the braking that takes its toll on tires, and you're trying to get back on the throttle as quick as you can coming out of these turns, and that really rubs them as well. So, yeah, I mean, I think that it's pretty typical. Within a few laps, you start to see some runoff on the tires, and just gets worse as your run goes on.
Well, we got the McCanns up front, Kevin and Brian 1 and 2. Kevin in the 133, Brian in the black 1. Pace car is off, and Kevin is taking the green flag, going to try to outrun his brother on the front stretch, and gets a huge restart.
And we've got a wreck.
Oh no. Mike Harper? Someone.
Yeah, Jimmy Frazier took the most damage. He's going to have a fast
Trumbley has a tire literally not rolling.
That's always fun.
Look at the damage on the 96. That left front is in the quarter panel, the front quarter panel. The whole front end of that car completely destroyed. Sparks all over the place, I love sparks at nighttime. Oh man,
Boy,
like look at those sparks.
oh wow.
Oh man.
Again, that's why I love this damage model.
Gosh. Yeah,
This
Tremblay
is
took a
this
beating
is an
there.
interesting one. So I'm looking at the replay for myself. Jimmy Gilbalt got off to a very slow start, and then Jimmy Frazier dove under him, and I thought he was going to be okay, but then all of a sudden he had to check up for some reason. I'm not sure why. That is a strange one. It's almost like he had to get on the brakes for some reason, and he just went around. There was a car right behind him.
And we're gonna
And
look at the blimp
boy,
cam.
a lot of damaged cars here. Take a
Yeah.
look right
Oh,
there. You
yeah,
see that?
that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
weird.
Just all of a sudden had to check up. So I'm not sure what happened, but man, there's a lot of damaged cars here because of that wreck.
Yeah, the 81 of Harper involved in that. Frazier involved. I also saw Kyle Pendergraft involved in that as well too. And we kind of have to dissect what happened. But yeah, Frazier had like a weird wobble in the middle of the turn for some reason. I think I want to go on board. Let's go on board Pendergraft just to see what happened. Do you see Frazier in the like cyan-ish color car, turquoise? Yeah, Pendergraft. It seems like the damage model for these cars are left and right fronts just popping up through the hood.
All right, so we've got Tremblay, who did just use his quick repair. I can't imagine that Hunter Clark isn't going to use his.
I'm gonna look on board with Jorgensen as well too, because he's kind of back here, and see what he sees. I don't believe he took any damage, so Tremblay right in front of him took a lot of damage, so this should be interesting here.
Yeah, so we have 3 cars who took fast repairs there, so theirs is done for this race. We've got Tremblay, Clark, and Frazier. All 3 of them did use that fast repair there.
Yeah, so interesting. Not really sure what happened with Frazier and the wobble, but that wobble caused a lot of incidents with the other cars there, and a lot of guys damaged. Luckily, there is one fast repair, so I'm sure the majority of those guys are going to take that advantage right now. I just noticed the 45 of Cody is already 3 laps down.
Yeah, he connected late, so he did not qualify, and yeah, he basically started the race 3 laps down because that was when he connected. So yeah, not sure what caused him to be late for the race, but yeah, that's always unfortunate. Also, Kyle Pendergraft, I thought he was going to use his fast repair. His front bumper was just hanging coming into the pits, but he has chosen to get that damage repaired. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep up the speed, assuming he doesn't go a lap down here.
Yeah, he must know something that we don't, that's for sure.
And by the way, all 4 cars that came into pit, I know that 3 out of 4 of them, as Pendergraft is going to go a lap down to get more damage repaired. At least 3 out of 4 of them overshot their pit stalls. So if it comes down to pitting, and you know, it could have had to do with the fact that they were damaged, but that's something else that if this race is decided on pit road late, could come down to a mistake on pit road versus somebody having a clean stop.
Yeah, and overshooting the pits is something you definitely don't want to see. That's going to slow down your time quite a bit, and every position is going to matter here, especially when you're fighting for points in the standings. So hopefully these guys figure it out on pit road, and maybe, fingers crossed, we can get some green flag pit stops underway. I haven't seen one in a while. So we've got the McCanns back up front again. Not a whole lot has changed. That reset, obviously, right there on the front stretch is where all that occurred, so we didn't get very far. Hopefully these guys can strap in, settle it down, and get some laps under these tires. The setup is a little loose early on, and then it's supposed to tighten up as we get into the later run, so hopefully we can see that there. But Kevin McCann, again, getting a great restart here as green flag is in the air once again. We see Colt Cecil in this mix-up here. Joshua Funkhauser being battled by Evan Faust in the 78 on the backstretch here. So far, so good. Chris Medford trying to make his way back up to the front to the posts that are coming into tonight's race. Currently sitting in 4th place as Evan Faust on his back door currently. Try to see, yeah, a lot of guys breaking pretty early into turn 1. I feel like turn 1 and 2 is probably where most of the tire is going to be eaten up at.
Yeah, no question about that. Just, you know, when you have a tighter turn like that, yeah, the tires are definitely going to have a rougher time there.
Oh, I hear someone in the wall behind. Was that Tim Schofield?
Ooh,
no,
hard
Jeffrey
hit.
Gilbolt.
Ken Harper took
in that
quite a hit there.
incident. And the yellow flag is out once again. We'll take a look and see what brought out this caution. I heard the wreck before I saw it, and the 92 has some damage on there as well too. Take a look at his perspective.
And there were actually 2 wrecks in that same turn. Neil Quick also looks like the 92 of Jeffrey Gilbalt got into the back of Neil Quick as well. So there were actually 2 separate incidents to bring out the caution there.
Oh wow, Gilbalt just plows into the back of Quick. Just kind of lifts him up. I don't think that was the cause for the caution. You said there was a second one?
It happened behind them. It was... I need to go back and see who it was.
Because, yeah, that basically happened like almost at the same exact time.
It was the 96 of David Trumbley and the 81 of Ken Harper. That's what brought out the caution.
All right, let's take a look here. Actually back it up just a little more. Here you see Trumbley in the 96, get into the wall a little bit, collects the 81 of Harper right there. And at the same time that Gilbalt and Quick got into it, Trumbley actually got into Harper, unfortunately. Take another look from his point of view. See Harper down there in the 81 coming on the backstretch. I'm pretty sure Trumbley nails this wall here. No, he doesn't actually. Harper just kind of comes up on him, it looks like. And Trumbley just used a fast repair as well, so he's already got damage back on that 96. Was involved in the last incident as well too. We saw the amount of damage he had there.
And I'm a little surprised, but Neil Quick actually did use his fast repair when he came into pit. So I thought he was going to be okay. He only had some rear end damage, but he chose to go ahead and take that quick repair. So that's 4 cars so far that have taken it. Kyle Pendergraft chose not to take it, but he is now 4 laps down. So I'm really not sure why he chose to do that. I mean, that's going to be tough to make up those laps.
Yeah, unless he has a feeling. I don't know if they've ran here before and he just knows something that we don't. So unless he feels that there's going to be a lot of cautions in tonight's race and he can make those laps up, that's the only thing I can think of. And then holding on to that quick repair for that late push or like later on in the race. Not 100% sure. I mean, obviously the way that you do all that's going to be a toss-up. You use it, and then before you know it, another 5 laps in, you could be involved in a crazy wreck, and then now you have nothing to fall back on and your night's over with. So maybe he just felt like the damage wasn't too bad, but he did spend 4 minutes in pit lane, so definitely have to keep an eye and see what he decides to do. Sitting in 26 right now. Chris Medford, yeah, again, not a whole lot moving on. Colt Cecil and Kevin McCann actually up front now, so at some point Colt took that position away from Brian McCann in the number 1.
Cody and Jorgensen was the lucky dog there, so he is down to just 2 laps. Kind of got a look at him during the last restart. He was blinking in and out, so I think connection issues were why he ended up coming in a little bit late to start this race.
It's like Chris Wally in the number 5 up to 9th place, sitting in the top 10 with Paul Buzzle. I know Paul Buzzle in the 9 has quite a bit of issues in the last couple of races. Dover was definitely not a fan of him, but he is currently sitting 10th, so nice to see him making his way up there as well too. Joshua Funkhauser just sitting pretty in 6th, trying to see if he can outbeat Faust for not only the position but for points, as they're tied for 9th currently in the standings. So we should see some nice battling there later in the run. Pace car back off, and green flag about to come out here tonight. McCann waiting, and there he goes. McCann just controlling these restarts right now. Back there you see Brian McCann in the black number 1 fighting Colt Cecil for that 2nd place position again. Cecil's going to get him off of 2. And now let's see if the boys can start settling it down and getting some things rolling. Looks like there's some chaos going on back here with Quick.
They were 3 wide in turn 2, but they've been able to spread out a little bit there.
As they figure it out back here in the 20th position. Back up in the 10th, we have Buzzle in the 9 fighting Faust, who's also with Henry. So Faust dropping 2 positions off that restart. And now it looks like almost 3 wide coming out of turn 2. I feel like 3 wide wouldn't be terrible, but then at the same time, looking at turn 1, I feel like turn 3 and 4 would be a little bit easier to control.
Yeah,
situation.
Turn. I mean, you can make it work with 3 wide, but that's assuming that everybody hits their braking spot. Because if you don't, I mean, that just sends you right up the track, and pretty much all 3 of you are going to do a little interpretive dance because you're all going to go around at the same time. So, you know, if you're going to try 3 wide, you just got to make sure that you can hit your brakes at the right time. There's some trouble. That's the 11 of Hunter Clark that was having a little bit of trouble in turn 1 there, but he was able to keep it going.
And so we see Colt Cecil in the lead, took that position away from Kevin McCann while we were looking at the action in the back. Now they're trying to catch him. Did run the fastest lap by a whole 2/200ths of a second that last lap by, but now Kevin McCann and Brian McCann running a faster lap than Cecil. That past the lap, so Kevin probably going to catch him here at some point. Chris Medford back in the 46, just kind of sitting back and seeing what happens, and looks like the guys are starting to figure it out. The Buzzle here with King in the 55. Wally's lost some positions back to 10th now as well. Vincent Short doing well in practice, down to 12th in that 150. Had some early on incidents. You see some of that right side damage from some wall contact, but he's currently sitting 12th. Mike Harper, who's 6th in points right now, sitting 16th in that number 4 car right behind Benfield. So looks like we got some single file racing. Kevin McCann taking the position away from Cecil up front. See if Brian McCann can take that position away going into 1. I wonder how good the high line is here.
Yeah, well, I was going to say it's an interesting line that most of these guys are taking. They're diving into turn 1 and then kind of letting the car ride up the turn, and then they kind of stay up there for the rest of it. So definitely not a typical line that you see, but you know, one that you take once the car is tightening up more. And which is exactly what's happening during this run.
Joshua Funkhauser up to 5th, battling Evan Faust here for that position as well. I see someone high. It looks like Chris Wally. Yep, just as soon as I say that, he hits the outside wall going into turn 2. But does a great job of recovering there. Doesn't lose any positions. almost opens the door for Tim Schofield in the 12. Jimmy Fraser back out. Looks like he used his fast repair from that first incident, so now sitting in 12th. And back up front, Kevin McCann still leading this thing here. The lap times are pretty consistent up front right now. They're pretty close together. Colt Cecil 34.69, Brian McCann at 34.70. So
yeah,
definitely some hard racing.
The drop off has been about half a second, maybe a little bit more. Looking at the leader, Kevin McCann, his best lap was a 34.305. Colt Cecil actually ran a 34.191. That's an impressive lap time there, but the last lap time for Kevin McCann has been a 34.654. So actually that's only about 3.5 tenths. So not too bad of a runoff so far, but that number is only going to get wider as this run goes on.
Yeah, and we see that looks like there's some breaking of the group here from Chris Meffert's point. So we got the top 4 guys running close together. Then a little gap between 4th and 5th with Evan Faust there in the 78. Collected all the way to basically King. And then another little group with Chris Wally, who's actually being battled by Tim Schofield right now in the 12. Who's going to look like he's going to take this position going into 1 most likely. And Wally's up the track.
Yes, Schofield got loose and Wally got tight.
And Fraser right on the bumper right now. And almost threw right on the backstretch. Fraser on that lower side going into turn 3.
Yeah, it's oh, we have a caution.
Caution out.
Oh, we've got a very damaged car in the 81 of Ken Harper. Actually, he was damaged before that crash. Looks like David Trumbley, who's had a lot of issues so far, and Dakota Clark also was involved there.
So Trumbley involved in another incident. Still got some heavy damage up front. Take a look. So let's take a look at Ken Harper. Actually, we'll go to Trumbley. So what is this, Trumbley's 3rd incident?
I believe so, but yeah, you see yeah, it looks like Trumbley thought that Clark was going to go up higher coming out of the turn. Clark chose to stay in that 3rd lane, and yeah, that's just a racing incident there.
Run on board with Trumbley, get a better angle of this coming off of 2.
And Clark definitely got tight, went up the track there, and yeah, I mean, Clark just chose to stay off that wall, and yeah, just ran out of room there.
And then Harper almost made it out of this, but not quite. But from his perspective here,
did see quite a bit of pit stops. The 2 McCanns did come into pit. Colt Cecil did as well. Evan Faust, Dakota Clark. Looks like, yeah, quite a few stayed out though. So that's an interesting strategy there. So far, the 46 of Chris Mefford will take the lead. Paul Buzzle is currently 2nd. Chris Wally in 4th. Jarrett Wiedner in 5th. Vincent Short in 6th, and Mike Harper is 7th. They still have not yet pit. The one on freshest tires is Jimmy Fraser, who actually came into pit. It looks like that first caution. So his stop was only 6 seconds long. So he did not take tires. So looks like the top 7 that have not taken tires. It looks like the one that will be on the freshest tires is Neil Quick. His tire is only 15 laps old.
and your McConey setup shop. Lucky Dog is going to go to that man right there in the 45. Cody and Jorgensen getting another lap back as he's making his way around the field now. He's currently sitting 25th. Now only 1 lap left to go. Most likely get it here, depending on how things unfold and how he can stay clean through the race, but 2 Lucky Dogs back to back, so getting back in it. Kyle Pendergraph so far still 4 laps down, only 2 cars with laps down, 24 on the lead lap right now. Ken Harper is in that bubble and 24th, obviously involved in that last incident there with Trumbley.
And Harper did take a fast repair there.
And Trumbley doesn't have any fast repairs, so did Trumbley go in at all? Or is he... Looks like he's still... Yeah, he's still out. I mean, he didn't really do much.
Yeah, his stint has been... This will be 22 laps since he went into pit, so yeah, he's been out there for a little while now.
Yeah, so it looks like the top 13 are the ones. Neil Quick, about half of those laps with fresher tires compared to the leaders right now. Same with Jeffrey Gilbold on the 92. But Chris Medford back up front now. Paul Buzzell sitting in second. So obviously McCann's taking their pit stop. They are going to have really fresh tires ahead of some guys who have not pitted, which is almost everyone in the top, yeah, basically everyone in the top 7 who did not pit. Warnecke pitted as well, but that was 28 laps ago, it looks like. So basically, okay, so looking at this, about, yeah, so the top 13.
Yeah, basically. The only thing though is Warnecke's pit stop was only 11.6 seconds long, so I'm wondering if maybe he only got 2 tires.
That or topping off from fuel. Jeffrey Goldbolt was only at 5.7 seconds, so don't believe he took tires either. No way. So green flag underway here again. Chris Medford leading the pack. Jimmy Frazier battling Paul Buzzell going into turn 1. And let's see if Frazier can keep it out of trouble and take this position away from Buzzell.
Oh, we had 4 wide for a second in turn 1.
Oh, yeah, I see the craziness going on back here. Looks like, what, David Trumbley, Henry, yep, McCann. Oh, McCann's back there. Kevin McCann in 16th right now. And he's going to have to try and battle all this. Trumbley got really tight going into 3, almost nails the outside wall.
And this is what we talked about. Once these cars get spread out, it's okay, but getting to that point is much, much easier said than done.
And we're seeing Clark here tight into the entry of 1 as well, too. And just wearing those tires down completely. Back up front. Frazier battling Buzzell, still trying to take that position away. Buzzell just getting the momentum on the high side coming off the turn.
And we have a caution. Looks like Brad McDaniel went around. And, oh, he was taken around by Ken Harper, it looks like.
All right, let's take a look at Brad McDaniel in the 32. Let's see what happens here. He's battling Benfield in the 66.
Oh, yeah, he
looks like he
got on the brake hard, and
yeah,
he did take responsibility for the caution, by the way.
So good guy McDaniel claiming that caution. Yeah, it kind of looked like he just broke into it really hard. We'll look on Ken Harper's view, see what happens. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing you can do there, especially when there's a car to the inside.
Unfortunately, Ken Harper involved in another incident. Something he definitely doesn't want to see. We still need to find out if Ken and Mike are related in any way. I feel like we have a lot of brothers in this series.
Yeah, definitely. And McDaniel did use a fast repair, so that is 6 fast repairs used up.
$35 laps in, 5 cautions in as well too. So, oh, what's happened on the Buzzell? Oh, okay. The way that Buzzell's car was just drifting, it was like either a disconnected wheel or he fell asleep. Starts drifting towards the grass on the backstretch. This man right here just trying to hold off everybody and stay up front because he knows as soon as the McCanns get up there, it's going to be a handful. Ryan McCann in 10th, his brother Kevin in 14th, so still on those fresh tires. Got to weave through the rest of these guys who are still on the older tires. And that's pretty dangerous when you think about it too. Those new tires, you get so much speed, so much grip, and you're trying to get around these guys, but depending on the position that you're in, could ultimately send you in a different position, and before you know it, you could be around.
Yeah, definitely.
So it is tough once you have those new tires on, especially only 36 laps in. The first fuel run window hasn't even opened up yet, so.
By the way, look who is back on the lead lap, Cody and Jorgensen.
Yeah, Cody and Jorgensen again getting that McConney setup shop. Lucky dog once again gonna finally put him on the lead lap now. Hopefully he can stay in that position and kind of stay out there clean. But Gateway not doing people too much justice as of right now.
No, we knew it was a tough track to get around, but yeah, just there's a lot of different factors involved in this race. I mean, the braking is a little different. We're seeing certain, some guys are getting on the brakes a little more, and others are, kind of going hard into the turns a bit more and just kind of letting the car drift up the track. But also you've got tire wear to worry about. Some of these guys are on fresher tires than others, and there's just and different lines that you can take around the track. I mean, this is definitely a difficult track to get around, as we're seeing so far.
Absolutely. And guys, if you are watching tonight's race and you want to chat amongst yourselves, please feel free to do so. We do have the chat window open if you're while you're watching on YouTube. We kind of shout out some guys in chat, so if there's anything you'd like to say and say hello to everybody here, you can definitely use that feature as well. Other than that, we're going to start getting green here. Guys are getting back together. Frazier, Buzzle still up front. We saw Frazier trying to get around Buzzle. Couldn't manage to do it. Trying to figure out my words right now. But Chris Wally up in 5th position right now. He's been kind of in the top 10 a little bit, but now he's actually broke the top 5. Wait for these guys to get around turns 2 or 3 and 4 here. Chris Medford's going to get most likely a pretty strong restart here. He's been doing well all night up front. And green flag underway once again. And Medford is going to take them into turn 1. Frazier finally able to get around Buzzle on that restart. And Wally also gaining a position there as well.
Well, this will be an interesting turn. We've got a mess going on right now.
I see Brian McCain.
And oh my goodness.
Cecil in the wall right now. Hard Henry around. And caution is out once again. Matt Henry, we kind of saw there, spun around. Cole Cecil nailed the wall into 3. Looks like Pendergraph there in the 14's also involved in that as well.
Yeah, Matt Henry took some big hits there as well. Yeah, we've got plenty of fast repairs that are going to be used up. David Trumbley was involved again there. Not his fault, but yeah, he just said in the voice chat he's up to 20 incident points.
Oh, no. Wow. So Short actually looks like he just... I don't even know. He just like broke real early, caused Warnecke to get into him, and then Henry just got scrambled up into that. So let's take a look from Warnecke's position.
You gotta hate it for Kyle Pendergraft. He was almost through that incident, and then all of a sudden, just a car comes down low and just nails him at the last second. So unfortunate for him.
There's Allen. I was going to say, I do not see Allen's name on this list right now. Then on board with Alan Warnecke here. You're going to see Short really stomp on the brakes going into 3 right here. And that sends Allen up the racetrack into Henry, and Henry just nowhere to go. Looked like Henry had it under control for a second and then didn't.
Yeah, just, I mean, we knew that something was going to have to give in that turn, but that's just what happens. You know, all it takes is a little, you know, we talked about the different braking zones and the different lines, and that's what happens. Matt Henry did take a fast repair.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, with the amount of damage he has on that race car, I would not want to sit in the pits for him. But yeah, it almost looked like Henry just let that thing roll, and it unfortunately came back down, and he collected another driver as well too. So it's tough. A lot of these guys, I know a lot of emotions are probably running through their head when they're in a wreck. They're upset, frustrated, and everything else. And unfortunately, a lot of guys forget to hold that brake, which is kind of like a classic thing with iRacing. And people get so upset when you don't hold the brake, and that's kind of an example there. I think a lot of guys could have avoided that if Henry were to hold that brake coming back down, but it is what it is, and unfortunately it's going to cost him a lot of damage. But he's got a quick repair, so he can get everything settled back out there, and he now has no extra lives, basically.
Yeah, Colt Cecil was another one who used a fast repair, so that is already 8 cars that have used fast repairs.
We're almost to the halfway mark here, lap 41 of 120. Starting to get some green flag runs under us so far. A lot of the guys up front still haven't pitted. Mainly the guys up in the top 5. You're looking at about 41 laps since the last time. Actually, sorry, that's the beginning of the race. I don't even know what I'm talking about. So yeah, the top 5 basically not pitting since the beginning of the race, minus the guy in second, which was Jimmy Frazier, who was involved in an early incident near the beginning of the race.
But again, his stop was only just over 6 seconds long, so I'm guessing he probably just got a little bit of damage repaired there. I don't think he would have taken 2 tires that early in the run.
No, absolutely not. I don't really know a track that does well with a 2-tire run.
No, there's yeah, I mean that's the general thought in iRacing. 2 tires is a rare thing. It usually doesn't benefit you that much. You know, 2 old tires on one side can really hurt your car much more than real life, actually.
Yeah, most of it just I mean, loosens the car up. These cars are already loose as can be, so add that 2-tire run there, definitely not going to benefit these guys. Guys are coming around turn 3 and 4 here. Medford, Paul Buzzle up front, Frazier sitting 3rd, Chris Wally 4th, Jarrett Widener 5th, and Medford's just taking it. He saw it and didn't even wait, just took it coming off of turn 4. Now Frazier and Buzzle again battling each other. Wally's trying to get underneath, but Buzzle doing a little crossover move there coming off of turn 2. Looked like he was going to try to go to the inside of Frazier, but doesn't get it done. See Alan Warnecke back here fighting with McCann and Faust for 8th position.
We've got a caution. Brad McDaniel this is another one just braking at a different time. Got right into the 14 of Kyle Pendergraft.
See here, oh yeah, McDaniel just hauling into turn 3, and that seems to be the problem area for a lot of drivers here tonight. Right on board with him. let's see just how long it took him to break there. Telegraph down low in the 14. Jorgensen luckily, most likely avoids this. Oh yeah, wow. That's, oh actually nope, unfortunately Cody did get involved in that wreck, and Brad McDaniel looks like he disconnected.
Yeah, he had already used his fast repair and his car was all torn up. So yeah, he knew he wouldn't be able to stay up to speed.
Yeah, he definitely sent it. It's almost like he forgot where the braking zone was at. He straight sent that into turn 3. And his night is gonna be over with. I wonder how the cup cars are like here at this track. I feel like with the last few updates that iRacing has done to the cars, they've almost become easier to drive. Like the Cup Series, Xfinity, and all them. It'd be interesting to see how those series actually run on a track like this. Looks like the 81 Ken Harper is going to get that McConey setup shop lucky dog here. Gonna put him back on the lead lap, sitting in 24th. A lot of incidents early on, but got that quick repair, used it, so now he knows he's got to stay out of trouble.
Yep, we had 2 more use quick repairs. Pendergraft and Jorgensen both used a quick repair on that caution. So it's adding up quick. I mean, we are already up to 10 cars that have had to use fast repairs.
You know, almost half the field going into this, so with the way that everything's been going, a lot of it just seems to be happening about mid to end pack. So I think really the only person that needs to be a little worried is going to be this guy right here, Kevin McCann on the 133. Obviously trying to get some of those points he missed in Dover last week, but he's currently sitting 12th, so literally almost exactly mid-pack right now. So he's going to have to try to keep that nose clean, avoid as many of these cautions as he can, and see if he can get back up front. Same with Jesse B. King. At one point was in the top 10 in standings, currently sitting 13th, so again he's directly mid-pack as well too. So it's a hairy spot to be in, and when you have a lot of cautions, it's really tough to try to gain a lot of those positions back, and you almost get into like this area of just being stuck where you start questioning, should I have taken a pit stop there, or should I have just waited and just kept my positioning? Because you're not getting a whole lot of runs on these tires.
Yeah, and I love the tire limits that iRacing introduced, because that just changes everything. I mean, it's still, you know, the majority of it is still skill and strategy, but at the same time, there is a little bit of luck involved. I mean, you never know when that long green flag run is going to happen. And, you know, there's certain times where you just have a feeling that it's going to come. And when that happens and you get fresh tires before it happens, then, you know, you're in good shape. But if you stay out there and say, I'm just going to wait for the next caution, and it never comes, then you're put in a tough position.
Absolutely. I don't think Kevin has really moved up much since he did his pit stop. He's already got 18 laps on him now, but he hasn't really been able to go anywhere, kind of just sitting back there in the mid-pack. But that gives Chris Medford a little bit of breathing room as he's going to take the green flag here. Frazier alongside him, and Frazier getting a great restart. Actually almost side by side with Medford going into 1. He's going to be battling for the lead here coming off of 2. Medford with just a little bit of a better run, going to try and suck up to that quarter panel, take the air off of it, and gain that speed going into the backstretch. But Medford just getting a good idea of where his braking points are at. Broke just a little later there going into turn 3, and allowing him to kind of pull away from Frazier. Chris Wally up into 4th. Ryan McCann behind him, so Wally seeing if he can get his second win of the series here. His first win coming at the first race of the series back in Daytona. And now McCann trying to get up to
Oh,
his
we've got to
bumper.
spin. We've got to spin. Caution is out. Jimmy Gilbalt went around. It looked to be a self-spin that time. A little bit of contact behind him, and he was already starting to go around when that happened.
So, caution out once again. I'll take a look at Goldbolt here and see what happened. King kind of dives in on the inside of him, goes up the track just a little bit. Colt Cecil there, and unfortunately collects him. Does a good job staying out of everybody's way. Kind of sat in the middle of the track. Everyone gets around him pretty clean. We'll go on board with Cecil and see what happened there. Yeah, just a weird kind of incident. He clipped him on the right rear and caused him to spin around. So maybe a little bit of networking issues causing that one.
Yeah, I mean, Gilbalt was already real loose in the turn. He was kind of sliding it through, and yeah, just that one little bit of contact is what finished the process of going around.
Well, it looks like, I think that was Pendergraph I saw there. Might be getting the lucky dog he is. So Pendergraph gonna gain one of those 4 laps he had down back from the from opting out of using a quick repair. Now, has Pendergraph used a quick repair?
Yes, he has.
I know he's been involved in some incidents after as well.
Yeah, remember he was he actually used his fast repair on the last caution, but remember he was originally 4 laps down because he chose not to use a fast repair. So I'll tell you what, if he can get a few more cautions and get back on the lead lap, that might be the smartest move of the whole season, to sit back and willingly go 4 laps down to get damage repaired and slowly work your way back up throughout the race and saving that fast repair. So that would be really interesting to see if he can end up on the lead lap before this race is over with.
And while I was thinking about Chris Medford, I also noticed Brandon, who is sitting 3rd in points, actually is not racing in tonight's race. So he's going to take a little bit of a hit on those points.
That's a bold move, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with Kevin missing Dover and sitting in 2nd and then got dropped to 4th, he didn't really lose a whole lot of spots. So Brandon could potentially be in the same position where he may not lose a whole lot of spots. Kevin's only 8 points behind him for that 3rd place position. And then you're looking at Chris Wally, who's also up in the top 5 currently right now as well. Only less than 10 points behind him. About 15, yep, actually about 15 points behind 3rd. So with where Wally stands, that should propel him depending on where Kevin lands. But again, Kevin now making his way up to 9th from 11th, so slowly getting back up there. Colt Cecil, another guy who's also really quick. We saw him get into an incident, hits the outside wall. He's down into 13th. Mike Harper, one of them, another guy who unfortunately has a lot of bad luck, but I mean, he's 6 in points currently. He is down into 19th, so still a whole lot of racing left. Anything can happen here. So now with the quick repairs kind of going away on most of these guys, we should start seeing some more green flag runs here now that a lot of these guys either have quite a bit of damage or have unfortunately resided for the night due to not having a quick repair. Pace car coming off. Medford gonna see, yep, gets that jump off of 4. And green flag back in the air here at Gateway. Ooh, got a lot of guys back here scrambling on the front stretch. One of those is Hunter Clark in the 11 car. He's battling Funkhauser at 15. Paul Buzzle and Chris Wally going at it. McCain below him. We got one up high. I think that was Widener there in the 33 in turn 3. Right on board with McCann as he's battling Wally in turn 1 here. Try to take that position away from him. That's a good one.
We just had a car nail the wall. Jeffrey Gilbalt just destroyed the wall in turn 1. Wow. No caution. They're still green, but man, his car is badly damaged on the right side. Actually, even his left side tire.
Oh, yeah. He's got a heavy vibration in the left side of that. Looks like it's affecting his ability to right now. Let's try to pull up a
we've got several cars who've had a lot of issues. I believe Jarrett Wiedner might have hit the wall. No, actually, no, it wasn't him. It was a different purple car that was behind him. It might have been the...
Looks like Clark and Goldbolt got into it in a turn 1, and it sent Goldbolt up the track and into the wall. And I think it's his right front's kind of stuck. We'll see if he can get that back to pit road really slow here. We'll go back up front.
The 34 of Dakota Clark actually hit the wall in turn 3 as well. He is currently coming into pit. So yeah, just unfortunate circumstances there. Just a couple of hard contacts with the wall.
I'm not sure if Chris Wally had a train go below him, but he's gone all the way back to 8th from 4th. Kevin McCann and Brian McCann both getting around him as well too. Evan Faust also up there in 4th. Buzzle was in 2nd last I checked. Now it's dropped down to 6. And Frazier still trying to catch Chris Medford in the 46 currently. Just about 7/10 off the lead, but he's about to have a handful of McCann, who's on newer tires. 20 laps newer, to be precise, on Frazier.
Yeah, Jeffrey Gilbalt has stayed out. He's still trying to nurse that car around the track, hoping to get a caution so he can use that quick repair and not go a lap down. But man, both of his tires are just, oh yeah, he just nailed the wall coming off the 2 again. So yeah, he is in a lot of trouble right now. He's about to get lapped.
Yeah, he's about to get lapped anyways, and hopefully this isn't going to cause any issues for the leaders coming around.
He is coming into pit now, it looks like.
Alright, so we see him entering pit road there. Medford still kind of in the lead. Brian McCann still working on Jimmy Frazier. Look like he might get him here as we're right on the back of Frazier's car.
And oh, there's a caution.
And the yellow flag is out. Lap 60. And let's take a look and see what happened. Not really seeing a whole lot.
It was the 34 of Dakota Clark. He came around coming out of 4.
Alright.
Just a self-spin that time.
Yeah, so you see it there, get loose off of turn 4, comes around. barely scrapes the inside wall. But since that whole front stretch is racing surface, it's going to cause that caution to come out. Right aboard with him real quick. Let's see what happens here. I think he just came off a pit road as well too, shortly before this. Oh, he was loose going into 3. Pretty much loose through the whole turn. And just loses it.
And can you believe Gilbalt took a fast repair? I thought his car looked pretty good.
Oh man, yeah, he definitely needed that. Now back up front, we got a new leader, Evan Faust in the 78. Holt Cecil up to second now. It looks like we had some guys coming for pit stops while we were looking at the caution. It looks like Jimmy Frazier, Brian McCann, Kevin McCann all in. And Medford looks like he took his first pit stop as well too. He drops all the way back to 17th, sacrificing a lot of positioning for those tires. But he basically ran pretty much halfway through with just one set of tires, so he still has 2 sets left.
Yeah, and in 6th place, Chris Wally, the 5 car, still has not come into pit at any point. He's the only one who has not done so. So that's definitely a bold strategy. We're over halfway into this race, and he still has all of his tire sets remaining.
Yeah, we're now over the fuel run, between 55 and 60 laps, so kind of interesting to see what strategy he pulls off. Maybe he feels he's saved enough.
Well, when half the laps have been caution laps, that definitely helps things.
Yeah, obviously, for sure too. So maybe he just feels that the tire tread is still there and he can still stay competitive, but we'll have to see. Those around him, Joshua Funkhauser in the 15th car, sitting in 7th. Only about 33 laps on his tires. Hunter Clark about 54. He's sitting in 10th. So he's going to have the oldest tires in the field, amongst some of those faster guys that just came in as well. So it's going to be rough, but we'll have to keep an eye on him and see what he can do. He's sitting in 6th, so right now track position is going to be the most important thing to him right now. And as far as the chat goes, anything interesting happening on your side?
You asking me?
Yeah. Driver chat.
Oh, sorry. No, I haven't really heard anything lately. A couple of cautions ago, Chris Wally came on and just kind of said, "All right, guys, let's focus here. Get on the brakes when you need to." So, they were able to do a few laps after that, and then we had the self spin. So, so far that seems to have taken a little bit of an effect, but still a lot of racing left. So we'll see if things can not get too heated by the end of this one.
Evan Faust in the 78, first time leading here, first time up in the lead. Cole Cecil beside him. We know how dominant Cecil can be. Now that he's got clean air, maybe he can make something happen. Green flag is going to drop here again. 63 laps in at Gateway. And now King trying to make a move on Cecil going into 1. Quick above him as well too. Henry got a bunch of new guys up front. Henry, someone we haven't talked about at all tonight, currently sitting in 5th. And I think I see Paul Buzzle in the grass. Yeah. Paul Buzzle's in the grass on the backstretch. He's lost all those positions now, currently last. King and Faust fighting. Cecil takes that position away from Faust, now leading the race.
I'll tell you what, something that would be worth taking a look at the replay for. So in turn 1, Brian McCann actually had to shoot down to the pit lane in order to avoid a crash right in front of him. that was a very close call for Brian McCann. He almost had a lot of damage, but he was able to put together a fast reaction and just get down there and keep the car from getting out of shape. And actually didn't lose too much position in the process. He did an excellent job of really minimizing the amount of lost positions there.
We're going to see here McCann, yeah, Medford a little bit. Easily gets onto that access road from the pits and uses that as kind of like a makeshift track. Gets back and Buzzle comes right in front of him. And luckily, nothing too serious going on there. Very interesting. He is now in 15th, battling the 81 of Ken Harper back up front. We still got a three-way battle. Faust is trying to get that position back from Cecil. Him and Cecil side by side into turn one. And Faust is disappearing.
Oh, we've got cars going around. Big wreck here. That's going to bring out another caution.
Oh, Clark, Widener, Warnecki, a 150 of Vincent Short in this one. Buzzle. Yeah, this is going to be the big one tonight. The 34 of Dakota Clark. The 40 of, or 45 of Cody and Jorgensen involved in that one as well, too. A couple of lapped traffic. I think Kyle Pendergraph also in that one as well. We'll try and get this caution sorted away and see exactly what happened here. Buzzle looked like he went for a ride of his life. We'll start with Buzzle and the 9 car here. He's going to get a nice little lift from behind. He actually almost gets into Warnecki, which shifts him up the track. So the accident's happening in front of him. He's slowing down, and Jorgensen just nails the rear end of Buzzle. And that wasn't even the caution. The caution actually happened in front of Buzzle, and he was trying to slow down for it. So it was almost like 2 separate cautions. We'll have to go back a little more. And see where exactly this caution. So the 33. Alright, let's take a look at the 33 of Jared Widener. Do a blimp cam here. Oh, the 11 of Clark actually slows down and piles up the cars. Gilball had nowhere to go, gets down into Widener, and then chaos ensues behind him. I think, let's see, let's look at Clark real quick as well too. Yeah, another weird incident, almost like the incident with like Frazier. I'm right on board with him. He just kind of like randomly brakes in the middle of the turn. Like really slows it down.
Hey, and one good thing that did come out of that, guess who got through that wreck clean?
McCann?
Not just that, but David Trumbley finally was able to get through a wreck.
Oh man, yeah, Trumbley not having a great night at all. But yeah, Paul Buzzle, he definitely got the worst of that one. He saw the wreck plenty of time to slow down for it, and Jorgensen unfortunately just nails him and lifts his car off the ground. I'm not sure. Go ahead.
And I was going to say something surprising is that Paul Buzzle has, you know what? He has used his fast repair already. He used it 2 cautions ago, I believe. So his back bumper is currently hanging off the car, but he has decided not to get it repaired. He's staying out, so that's interesting.
Did we ever figure out if iRacing throws cautions for debris?
I don't believe they do.
I'd say that would be interesting.
And unfortunately, Jeffrey Gilbalt, who also got that fast repair at the same time that Buzzle did, currently has no front bumper, so those two, they should just piece together one car and just have one driver, but unfortunately that can't happen. So those two are just really going to have to nurse their cars for the rest of this race.
Yeah, past that halfway mark, a lot of guys damaged on in this race. Most of them already used the faster pairs up as well too. But Evan Faust reclaimed that first place position from Cecil and still held on to it. King up there quick, finally finding a rhythm and getting up into fourth as well too. So Quick's currently sitting second in points, literally 20 points behind Brian McCann. So McCann brothers finding themselves in the back of the pack once again. I think Brian is, what, 11th, 10th? Oh no, actually 13th right now. The one guy that had some issues at Dover as well too, the 66 of Benfield, he's actually seemed to have kept everything pretty clean. Sit back in 14th. But pace car is off. Faust bringing him to the green flag here. And just like that, gets a nice little run going into turn one. Neil Quick battling King.
Well, we've got cars going around.
I think, who is that?
And Chris Mefford was one of the cars involved that time. Looks like the 33 of McCann. Oh, he was actually pushed into him by his brother, Brian. Oh, boy.
Oh, no. But we'll take a look here. It looks like it starts with Kevin McCann.
Yeah, so Kevin had to check up because the car in front of him was going around, and Brian just unfortunately wasn't able to check up quite enough right behind him and actually ended up pushing him into the car that was spinning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it looks like Medford already loose into turn one, and Kevin just kind of eats that one. Let's run on board with Medford here. See him getting loose. Oh, might have got a little shoved by Wally, it looks like. And from his angle, the incident with McCann doesn't look that bad, at least from this camera angle. But I do believe Medford got some help from Wally, so let's take a look at Wally and see what happens here. Yep, just a little shove on that rear end. And that's the thing about these cars. I mean, that's obviously not an ideal place to get hit from anyways, from any car, but these cars in particular do not do very well with any sort of rear end bumping. Like, even if you square bump somebody on these cars, you can't push like you can in the Cup cars. So just about any sort of rear end disturbance for these ARCA cars, and they're gonna get loose no matter what. It looks like Wally's gonna be entering pit road here.
Yeah, and Wally did take responsibility for that caution. So no disagreements there between what happened.
Wally 74 laps, hasn't taken a pit stop at all. Now he's going to take his first pit stop. That strategy could really play in his favor.
Yeah, and he actually did just enter a closed pit road, so hopefully he doesn't get a black flag here.
We'll have to see what happens with him, see if he gets held on pit road or not. A little bit of a shakeup up front. Tim Schofield in the 12 up into 7th. Mike Harper sitting in 8th. Kevin McCann 9th. Jimmy Frazier in 10th. So a little bit of a change there. Kevin McCann doesn't look like he has too much damage. I mean, you kind of see that right front pushed in just a little bit. We want to see if that disturbs the car at all. Brian, even though he shoved Kevin into that little incident, doesn't look like he has a whole lot of front-end damage or anything either that I can tell. This is going to bring out yet another caution, and we're looking at 75 laps in. How many cautions are we at? So 11 cautions, 42 caution laps, and 12 lead changes currently. And I love how the overlay can't figure out the name of this place. So looks like we're at no name.
That's interesting.
It's like, what track are we at? I'm so confused. We cannot pull that information from iRacing.
Well, this track did used to be called Gateway, but now is called Worldwide Technology Raceway. So I'm guessing it's still looking for Gateway and hasn't gotten that name update in the system. That's my guess, but don't know that.
It looks like this track's had a couple of name changes. I know before it was St. Louis Raceway. Like early on, they went to like Gateway Raceway Park or something. Like it was a bunch of weird names for this track. Green flag underway here yet again. Kevin Faust Kevin Faust. Well, I can't even think of the guy's name now. Evan Faust up in the 78, up in first. Colt Cecil, Jesse B. King, second and third. Take a look at Quick. He's trying to take this position away from Jesse King here on the 55. And like I've said before, what's interesting is how early these guys are braking going into 3 and how massive turns 3 and 4 are compared to 1 and 2. Yet 1 and 2 doesn't seem to be much of an issue.
Yeah, that's definitely been interesting. They've had a harder time in 3 and 4 than I thought they would. I thought that would be the easier turn, but yeah, there's definitely been some struggles there.
And on back here, Alan Warnecke in the 72 with Brian McCann and Kevin McCann 11th and 12th. Kevin dropping back just a little bit. Not sure if the damage is affecting the car and the churning at all or what's going on, but he's lost a few positions on this restart. Brian McCann up to 10th right now, battling Warnecke, and Kevin trying to get around him as well, coming to the backstretch. Further back, Buzzle, who was involved in an earlier incident, up to 14th, battling alongside Stoney Benfield in 66. And they're going to come up on Kyle Pendergraft, who was doing such a...
got a spin.
Take a look.
Looks like the 6 of Jimmy Frazier ended up in the grass there. Yeah, he and the 4 of Mike Harper got into each other in the turn, and Harper was able to keep it going, but unfortunately for Frazier, he did end up in the grass there, and it cost him a lot of positions.
Yeah, you see Harper coming up to Frazier, but luckily Harper coming back across his nose kind of straightened him out, so we stayed green here. Medford was around that incident as well too, so luckily he's not involved in anything there. Medford up to 10th currently, was our pole sitter coming into tonight's race.
Alan Warnecke almost lost it coming out of turn 4, but was somehow able to keep up with it. I don't know how. I thought he was going around.
Alan Warnecke sitting 13th, Schofield there battling him on the inside, going into turn 3 and 4, Widener into 33, trying to get in on this action as well too. And now we're starting to see some separation here in the back. Back up front, Matt Henry in the 4 car. Getting tight, running up at turn 1 and 2. It's going to open the door for Colt Cecil coming to the backstretch. Almost nails the wall coming off at 2. And now Cecil's going to try and take that position away as we enter 3. Joshua Funkhauser in the 15. Trying to make up some positions as well, gain some of those points. And they're coming up on lap traffic. The leader's coming up on the 81 of Harper, who's 13 laps down currently. Gets around him just fine. Caught him at a good time on the front stretch. Let's see, ooh. Cecil there diving down on the back stretch trying to get around him. It looks like Harper's going to bring it down the down to the apron there. Neil Quick up to 3rd now, the highest position he's been in all night. He's alongside trying to battle the 55 of Jesse King. Let's take a look at their last lap and see how it compares to one another.
And yeah, Quick is he's had a nice run, but an interesting one. He started off getting in some trouble, had to use his fast repair pretty soon in this race, but since then has been able to recover nicely.
Yeah, about 0.3 of a second difference from their previous lap as they come across the line here. And it looks like Quick is actually going to be gaining on King that last lap by. Faust not really showing too much of a slowdown. 0.3 of a difference between him and King for that second place position. They've kind of just taken off from Matt Henry in 4th. A huge gap. Matt Henry only 3 seconds away from 1st. And McCann also back there alongside Colt Cecil, who's now dropped all the way back to 6. Right on board Kevin McCann, who's got a little bit of front right damage. Jeez, trying to work on Cecil in 1 and 2. Right now, the guys look like they've gotten everything kind of figured out. See Faust coming into 3 there, and then there's Henry and McCann in the 2 black cars. So quite a big gap there. And now Brian McCann working on Henry, and that 19 coming across the front stretch into 1. And Henry's going to let McCann take that one over. Just back behind him, Chris Medford, pole sitter coming into this, looking to get a second win in the second race. Trying to get back up there, currently sitting in 8th, battling Kevin McCann, Joshua Funkhauser, and Jimmy Frazier. And it looks like Colt Cecil coming into the pits. Not sure if this is planned.
Yeah, I'm not sure. His tires are almost 50 laps old. Again, that includes caution laps, so not terribly old, but yeah, I'm wondering if maybe this is a fuel strategy.
Cecil going to try and change the strategy up, see if that will help him in the long run. Now 88 laps into this race out of 120. Jimmy Frazier trying to work on the pole sitter, Chris Medford in the 46. And right now is probably where the car starts to get tightened up. Side by side with Medford getting a good run on the outside. And outside carrying him in front of Frazier there.
Yeah, we're deep enough into the run to where running side by side is going to cost you a lot of time, especially since most of these cars, like we said earlier, they're kind of diving into the turn, but then drifting back up the track. And so when you can't do that from being side by side, yeah, that costs a lot of time in the process. So if you're going to be side by side, you better make sure that you can make that pass.
Yeah, the closest battle going on right now in the top 10 is going to be between these two guys, Jimmy Frazier and Chris Medford. We'll take a look at their laps here. Chris Medford running about 0.3 faster than Jimmy Frazier. About 0.2 from that last lap, so he's coming up on Henry now to take that 6th place position away. And looks like Medford now in the later runs using the high side.
Yeah, I think he had to that time to get around the 19 of Matt Henry as he's going to fall back, it looks like 2 spots.
Yeah, Frazier going to take that spot away from him as well. Back up here, Neil Quick still trying to catch King. McCann now dropping it. The gap from 4th when Henry was there was about 3 seconds. McCann is now up to 4th. There's about a 1.4 second difference in the lead. So
yeah,
McCann definitely making some time.
Yeah, you're going to see Brian and Kevin both make up a lot of time as their tires are only about half as old as the front 2. And 3rd place, Neil Quick, his tires are even older than that. They're almost 78 laps old now. So you're definitely going to see the McCanns get up there before too long.
Little field window open for Neil Quick. You see how much he slows down going into turn 1. McCann catches him real quick, and he's going to make use of that.
Oh, got a car on the wall just in front of them. It's the 11 of Hunter Clark, gets into some more trouble. So there was contact coming out of 2.
Let's see that here on the replay. Clark diving in front of Short there. Short gets contact, pushes him up into the wall, and luckily no one around. Faust, the leader, almost involved in that.
Looks like, oh, Brian McCann and Neil Quick almost got into each other, but luckily able to keep it going. But yeah, Brian McCann going to take over that 3rd spot.
Yeah, so just like that, Faust
actually,
loses.
never mind. Brian's in the lead.
Yeah.
Did not realize that was a race for the lead.
Happened so quick. Faust lost 2 positions down to 3rd. McCann gained 4. And now Neil Quick still sitting in 2nd, but Faust starting to drop off a little bit here, and it's going to open the door for King and the 55 as him and Faust, or Quick and Faust, are battling each other.
Wondering if something happened to Kevin McCann, because he was right behind Brian as far as position goes, but not able to make up those positions as much as Brian has been able to.
Drag race down the front stretch with Faust and King. King still side by side with Faust, just staying there as they go into turn 1 and 2. Almost make contact. Pushes Faust up the track just a little bit. And while all this is happening, Kevin McCann still trying to catch these guys. The more they battle, the easier it's going to be for him to get back up there. And now McCann starting to pull away from Quick. About a 0.7 difference going across the line here.
Yeah, this is kind of uncharted territory for a lot of these guys. Finally, a decent-sized green flag run, and you're seeing how much these guys are struggling when they're right by each other, just having issues gripping the track.
And a lot of these guys up front, their fuel window is open. Neil Quick, 82 laps so far on the stint. Obviously, again, we are counting caution laps with that, so probably closer to about 60-ish laps in on tires. You also got Jesse B. King, Evan Faust also looking like they're hitting about their fuel run as well. So a lot of these guys probably going to start thinking about tires here. You got 3 sets, so you got plenty of them. We'll have to see what happens. We're almost at the lap 100 with 20 laps to go here at Gateway.
And Edmund Faust almost got into the back of King in the previous turn, but able to get on the brakes just enough to keep that from happening. But yeah, this is definitely, each driver is just really struggling right now, and it's interesting to see what they're doing when they're close to each other.
Kevin McCann finally making up some of that ground on Faust. Now is going to be on the back door of him coming off of 2. A little further back. Everyone's pretty much... Oh, is that Henry? Who is that? Somebody just nailed the wall. I think that was Henry. Yep. Number 19 on Matt Henry nailing the wall coming out of turn 2. So Henry having some issues since he's been up front. And slowly dropping back.
Had Jimmy Frazier almost lost it coming out of 4.
It's Colt Cecil. Oh, Colt Cecil is a lap down. I didn't even realize that.
Well, yeah, he came into pit earlier.
Yeah.
So yeah, now he's hoping that all these guys end up having to come in. If he does that, boy, he could be in great shape. As really, there's not going to be enough time to make up that lost time. When someone else is out there on new tires. So that's a big if everybody in front of him needs to come in, then he could be in great shape here.
And good news for him, if a caution does come out, he is the last car on the on the lap down.
Oh, and we're gonna have it.
And Cecil's gonna be
not what he
involved. As we just said it right there, Cecil unfortunately getting into Frazier. We saw all that unwind right in front of us, and that's going to bring out caution number 12. And looks like Cecil.
Quick. And Neil Quick did come on the radio and say he was relieved. He was relieved that there was a caution. He only had about 3.5 gallons left of fuel, so we were pretty close on that fuel run.
As we'll see here, Cecil and Frazier battling it out as soon as we looked away. So it looks like Frazier kind of caught up on Medford a little bit, checks up. Cecil continues pushing. Oh, Frazier actually loose. Frazier actually got loose off of turn 2, and Cecil just not really anywhere to go. Frazier kind of up in his grill a little bit. And it looks like Colt Cecil is going to retire from tonight's race. Safe to see that for any driver, especially Colt. Doing a really good job here tonight. Finally gets a good run in. Had probably a decent strategy, but now everyone's going to be coming in for this pit stop here. Minus, of course, the McCanns. Looks like Jimmy is also staying out as well too. That's interesting. So now we got Brian McCann, Kevin McCann back up front. Neil Quick winning the race off of pit road from Chris Medford. So Neil will stay in 5th.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision for that top 4. Their tires are definitely going to be noticeably slower than everybody else, but I think maybe they're relying on there being another caution before this becomes a green-white checkers situation. So yeah, that's definitely an interesting one. If those top 4 are definitely wanting another caution to happen soon.
Yeah, especially Frazier, who was involved in that last incident. I mean, he spun out. Those tires are definitely going to be a little bit more worn. They're going to be heated up and everything else like that. So this restart could get pretty interesting for him. While we're under this caution, just want to give a huge shout out to tonight's sponsors. Maconi Setup Shop sponsoring this particular race tonight. You can find them at MaconiSetupShop.com. They have custom setups that you can kind of customize however you want to, and they specialize in a bunch of the oval style tracks, so perfect if you're into that style on iRacing. Their setups run at $5 a piece, and you get discounts for 6 of 6 of their setups at $27.50 and 12 setups at $50. So if you're looking for custom setups for guys who are just as passionate as racing tracks as they are as building setups, you can go ahead and contact them. Hydrotech PC over at hydrotechpc.com. They specialize in custom liquid cooling PCs, design and fabrication and assemblies for homes, businesses, events, and gaming. You can find them over at hydrotechpc.com. Of course, our big sponsors here, R&R Racewear, over at r-rracewear.com for your high-end racing apparel and die casts, and Loud Pedal Gaming, who's just a typical streamer playing a bunch of different styles of games. He's over at facebook.com/Loud Pedal Gaming. So want to thank you guys again for hopping on the sponsorship. A huge thank you to Hydrotech for also hopping on for this series as well. We're coming to an end here, 15 laps to go. And quite frankly, I think the tire strategy is going to be very interesting here.
Yeah, without question. And unfortunately for Vincent Short, he just announced that he did get a black flag for actually passing the pace car as he was coming onto pit road. That's one of the most frustrating things that can happen in iRacing, and something that a lot of people wish that, you know, iRacing could do something about. But what that does is it prevents somebody from speeding up as they're coming onto pit road. So just an unfortunate circumstance there.
Need to see that's going to put him another lap down as well, too. 2 laps down currently. Looking from the flag stand, green flag about to come down, and Brian McCann taking this one on the restart. His brother right there with him. Frazier again just got done spinning those tires, so not sure how much grip he has. He's going to try and battle McCain coming in. Well, one person that's going to be interesting, Chris Medford. Oh, and Warnecke into it right here, going up into the wall on the backstretch and hits the outside wall, and caution is going to come out again.
Yeah, Warnecke was actually trying to avoid Harper and ended up spinning in the process. Harper got very loose coming out of the turn. And yeah, Warnecke kind of tried to dive down low to avoid him and ended up spinning in the process.
Take a look at this incident from the blimp cam here. You see Harper in the 4 car. Yep, gets loose, corrects it, and Warnecke thinking that he can get around, collects Buzzle in the process. Not a whole lot of damage, it looks like, for Warnecke. I think Buzzle's car might have actually helped him a little bit avoid the complete chaos with that outside wall. But yeah, it's interesting how easily that car snapped back into position on Harper's car, because that almost, especially with these cars, when you get into that situation, these cars almost 90% of the time are going to go around, but Harper did a great job of saving that one. Unfortunately, Warnecke just... Oh, Tim Schofield there in the 12. We know he had an incident, was it at Dover, where he said one of his monitors went down? I'm not sure if it was Dover or if it was the race before that. But it looked like, I thought something might have disconnected. He kind of dove down in there on the front stretch. And it looks like Chris Wally is getting the lucky dog here. So that's going to be the McConey setup shop, a lucky dog right there. Chris Wally, an unfortunate night for him, doing really well up front. Now he sees himself back into 18th position. Only 18 cars on the lead lap.
And he had actually gotten a black flag as well for the same reason that last before that last caution.
What was it for? Do you know?
I believe it was also passing the pace car. I'm not sure what exactly happened. I guess they were. I don't know. I guess I really have no idea. No idea.
That's frustrating for sure. I've yet to experience it, but I know a couple of guys that I don't even know if there was like really a bug going around or not, but like they would come down pit road, and then there were times where I've seen like they've said that like the pace car slows down slower than the actual pace it's supposed to be at. I can't remember what track it was on, but I had a buddy tell me about it a couple of weeks ago, and it caused him to get a black flag because of it. I've seen the pace car do some crazy things though.
Well, yeah, we yeah, a couple of weeks ago we saw it go. I swear it was probably around 200 miles an hour. It's like put him out there on the track, let him contend.
He was going so fast that the tires couldn't even keep up with the surface, and he kind of spun the tires.
Was it Talladega?
I don't think so.
It might.
I thought it was a short track.
Maybe. I thought it was at like a long track with a lot of speed, because I remember we were amazed at how fast it was truly moving, but maybe not.
It wasn't Atlanta, was it? I don't think it was Atlanta.
It's possible. I can't remember.
Yeah, that car's got a mind of its own.
Oh yeah.
That's for sure. Actually, I think it was Charlotte. Now that I remember, I'm looking at the schedule, and I think Charlotte, because Charlotte is the only other bigger track we've been at besides Worldwide right now. Because Daytona's been the first one, unless it was on a different link, but that's besides the point. So a 10-lap shootout. Both McCanns up front. Still got the older tires. So it's going to be interesting to see. Frazier also up there, 49 laps on his. Jeffrey Gilbolt, 51 laps on his tires. Everybody else looking at about 7 laps. And one of those guys is Chris Medford, the leader coming into this, pole-wise, sitting in 5th. So he has a really good chance.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Medford definitely has the advantage as we're about to get going here. We're going to come into 9 to go at the line.
Yeah, you saw there, Frazier was getting really antsy on the back bumper of McCann, like literally pushing McCann through 4. But now Medford's going to be put in a weird spot for just a second. They're almost 3 wide. He's trying to get around Frazier. Faust behind him, trying to make something happen. Right on board with Medford and see what he can do. He's got a lot of grip on those tires. Going to try to get around McCann here. McCann moves off of 4, almost making contact. And Medford taking that position away from McCann. Faust is going to be below him. Now he's going to try and work on Jimmy Frazier.
Oh, caution's out now, by the way.
Oh, this is going to make things very interesting.
That was on the number 11 of Hunter Clark, just a self-spin coming off of 4.
Hunter Clark can't get that car under control. Looks like on the second time he's gone around off of 4. Seeing him here, he seems to be battling 3 and 4 more than anyone else, and just turns into a slipping slide for his car there. And interesting enough, I just saw Neil Quick during that replay. I saw Neil Quick and Jesse B. King down pit road.
Yeah, Quick. I'm listening to him now. So not only did Neil Quick have a black flag that he was currently serving, but also he was trying to get it cleared on pit road, and in the process got an excessive speeding penalty.
Oh no. Wow. And Neil Quick's day just went from great to terrible, just like that. Focused on one black flag and then just gets another. And that puts him all the way down to 18th with 1 lap down. Did the same thing happen to King as well in the 55?
I think
'Cause
so.
they both came down at the same time.
Yeah, just something happened during one of those cautions that just got these guys all messed up. I don't know. I don't know that I've ever seen so many black flags at one time.
Yeah, I don't believe they're using an admin. I think they have iRacing throwing the flags, if I remember correctly.
They do.
So iRacing just being savage tonight, giving everybody black flags. But that's going to put us, I think once the race starts going here, it's going to put us at 4 laps to go. So we're going to be in green-white checker territory. For those of you who don't know, we do have 3 green-white checkers tonight, so if they can't get it done, they will get 3 more chances. But Brian McCann just trying to hold on to that spot, and I'm still giving it to Medford here in the 46. I mean, he's been doing a great job taming this track. 12 laps on his tires compared to Jimmy and Brian at 54 laps. I mean, there's a lot of tread left on those tires.
Yeah, no question. McCann and Frazier both definitely going to have their hands full to finish this race, but yeah, it'll be quite an accomplishment for especially McCann to be able to hang on to this.
And McCann's trying to get his 3rd win here in the series. We're only 6 races in, so almost a 50% win ratio, but the man.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there's one guy out here that can do it, it's Brian McCann.
Absolutely. Chris Medford, again, a newcomer in from his brother Brandon Medford, who's not here tonight. This is his 2nd race of the series. Looking for a back-to-back, in a great position to do it, sitting in 3rd place. So as long as he can stay focused these next 4 laps, actually we're gonna have 3 laps when we come back around, so yeah, this is gonna be nuts. Matt Henry up there in that 19, another car that hasn't been having the greatest luck, but he's back up to 5th place. Evan Faust led a couple of laps coming into here as well too, now on 6. So really, I really feel like depending on what happens between Frazier and McCann, it's going to open the door for somebody here. And Frazier is really aggressive on these restarts, so definitely have to keep an eye on, see what happens. Pace car coming off. Frazier, McCann, door to door. McCann gets the big jump. And with Frazier having those old tires, it's going to really slow down that top line there, which is going to open the door for Chris Medford in the 46. Oh no, they're spinning behind. And caution is going to come out. Yep, caution is out. And it looks like Frazier won the battle. Actually, no. Medford won the battle against Frazier. So that's going to put us in green-white checkered territory.
Yeah, quite a few cars ended up being involved there, and yeah, Gilbalt was trying to get to the bottom of the track, but unfortunately, whoever it was right behind him had gotten his nose just beside him as he was trying to dive down to the bottom.
Here we go, right off the restart here. 92 Gilbalt and Buzzle. He cuts in front of Harper in the 4. Slides back up the track. Trumbley again involved in that as well. Around collects Harper, Clark, and Benfield. Someone again who hasn't really been in a whole lot of incidents. Benfield unfortunately just not finding the right spot there. Let's go on board with Trumbley. Let's see what he sees. Trumbley just, man, this is not his night tonight.
No, definitely not.
Ooh, yeah, he gets smacked by Benfield. And then the pileup just ensues there. All right, so green white checker time. What do you think is going to happen here?
I mean, it's going to come down to Mefford and McCann. I mean, McCann needs to try to, you know, for the restart especially, he needs to try to get Mefford off guard. He needs to start accelerating kind of, I would do it in between the pace car coming off and the actual green flag waving, just somewhere in there, you know, keep Mefford guessing. Because if Mefford gets off to as good of a start as McCann and can stick beside him going into one, it could be as good as over.
Yeah, McCann does a really good job on the restarts, controlling everything. Mefford has done a really good job on restarts as well, too, when he's been up front. So if Mefford can kind of counter McCann's restart, he might get a good run down the front stretch. And with him having such newer tires, I mean, he's gonna catch McCann in no time. So McCann's gonna have to throw some blocks depending on how much of a gap there is on this restart. So there's gonna be a lot going on. Frazier's still doing a good job being up there though in third with as old as the tires he has, especially being involved in an incident on top of that. So as long as Frazier doesn't get overly aggressive, he should, I mean, there's a good chance he could take this too, depending on what happens. As long as the guys in the back can keep it clean, we may not have to worry about using these 3 green-white checkers. I'm not sure if we've been in green-white checker territory before this series yet or not. I think maybe at Lucas Oil, since we had a bunch of cautions there, most likely we were in green-white checker territory there, but we'll have to see what happens.
And by the way, the server time is going to expire before too long, so hopefully there's not another green-white checker here that we have to worry about.
How much time is on your end? I see about 1:30.
Yeah, so they were talking about it in the voice chat. Apparently there's about 5 minutes remaining.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. That should be plenty of time. I mean, we're looking at about 34 laps, or 34-second laps. So as long as they can keep it green, we should be good.
Right.
This is where it's all going to be excitement here. All comes down to this. People are going to start beating and banging, trying to get to that lead, and McCann's going to have a handful right here. Watch Frazier though, right here. Frazier is going to get so close to McCann's bumper, it's insane. It's almost like he's pushing him. Yeah, gives him a bump right there. Green flag back out. That bump from Frazier might have actually helped McCann just a bit.
Yeah, that's exactly what McCann needed, a clean restart, be able to jump out and be single file going into turn 1, but boy, you're seeing the difference between new tires and old right there, but McCann's been able to keep it going so far.
Almost. And
he was able to keep it off.
That slide up, Trumbley is wrecking behind him.
Oh,
on the
boy.
backstretch, and caution's out. I think we're about to find out that Chris clear McCann. So far, iRacing has scored him in second. We'll see as he comes across the line. It looks like he is going to clear McCann.
And, oh boy.
So this is not good.
Well, it was the person involved. It was Trumbly.
Yeah, Trumbly causing the majority of the cautions here tonight. Just cannot figure this track out. We kind of saw him spinning on the backstretch at the right time that Medford took the position from McCann. So don't think he was helped by anybody. I think he just kind of hit the wall and spun out. Yep, gets loose up high, hits the wall. Oh, Pendergraph almost nails him coming off of turn 2 as well. Right aboard with Pendergraph here. See what happens. It just gets around him cleanly, but now it's the battle of the server.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen here. Is the checker flag just going to fly once the time's up, or is it going to allow them to finish? I'm really not sure.
I think from the little bit of experience I've had in one broadcast where we didn't run out of server time, it literally just placed the driver wherever they're at on the track. So I don't believe the checkered comes out. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've had a deal with the server time issue, but typically I think it just wherever they're placed out on the leaderboard is where they finish. If that's the case, Medford is going to get his back-to-back.
And was just told there's a minute 20 seconds left in the server, so they're not going to be able to go green again.
No, because pace lights are going to be, wow, pace lights aren't even going to go off this time by. That's going to put us in the second green-white checkered, but I do believe this is going to be the end here. We'll see what happens. This is kind of, like I said, it's happened before, but it's been a while, so I don't know if the whole room just shuts down and everyone disappears. Or what's actually going to happen. And in a way, from Chris Walley's standpoint too, if you know, going from Lucas Oil 2 weeks ago to now Dover having a lot of incidents, now Worldwide having quite a bit of incidents, there's a couple of times now that the series has had some issues with time being a factor. So hopefully Chris can figure out something and get these guys trying to race more so under the green flag than the yellow. While we're here, 16 cautions, 59 caution laps, 15 lead changes. So yep, this is going to be the final lap here. So it looks like it is going to end the race here. So if that's the case, Chris Medford looks like will win. But they're stacking up double file, so this is very confusing. What if it was a race till the server ends? Like if the green flag were to drop, does the server allow them to race back to the line?
That's what they're talking about right now. I have no idea. I have no idea what's about to happen. Now, your screen says final lap, so I'm not sure.
That's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
know.
I don't know. Like if it's final lap, that means whoever comes across the line is going to win. But if it's a race to the line,
this could. I mean, is this going to be a drag race to the line? I'm really not sure right here.
I guess we're gonna find out.
And looks like it's the white flag.
All right, so it looks like last lap here. So that means Jimmy Frazier actually still has a chance to take a position from McCann. McCann up high off of turn 2. Now it's a drag race between Frazier and McCann. Unless Medford has a huge screw up going into turn 1. Oh, Frazier actually gets down low, gets a little loose. Medford coming off of 4, and he's going to do it. Second race of the series, second win of the series, as you see him wrecking behind. And
wreck, big wreck on big wreck on the front stretch. Oh my goodness. Alan Wernicke just died.
Let's take a look at this last caution right here. Looks like it starts with the 33.
Yeah, the 33 went around spinning coming off of 4.
And 4 being a huge problem. No, the 4 of Harper getting into him. Wernicke going around. Oh my God, the 55 just barreling on through there. And the 34 just with the knockout. Wernicke almost made it across the line.
Oh, he didn't, did he? Oh,
he
wow.
Didn't make it across the line.
Oh, no.
So
that's unfortunate.
I wonder if let's see if Widener gives him a little put. Nope, Widener's going to say, see you later. And Wernicke, unfortunately, is going to just sit at the line. But Chris Medford.
Oh, the 12 of Tim Schofield finally did push him across the line.
Good guy, Tim, right there.
I think he was just pushing him out of the way so that Brian McCann could do burnouts on the finish line, because McCann was literally sitting there in front of the finish line waiting. So that's pretty funny there.
So Chris Medford's going to be the winner here tonight. Alongside him, going to be the one car, Brian McCann and Jimmy Frazier. Also going to be finishing up in 3rd. So Jimmy Frazier finally getting a top 3. That's definitely huge for him. And stick around. We're going to have some chats with the drivers here in the top 3. So we'll get those guys situated here. And all in all, I mean, besides, again, kind of a big old caution fest, it was interesting to say the least, especially with the timer, not knowing what was going to happen.
Right. Definitely added so a lot of drama at the end there. But yeah, I mean, definitely not a clean race by any means. I mean, if you asked any of these guys, which we will be asking them in a moment, I mean, I'm sure that they would have preferred a cleaner race, but still, things were definitely interesting throughout the entire thing.
And we're going to get Jimmy Frazier up here for some interviews. Bring him up in just a second. And I hope you've been paying attention, because my brain is completely scrambled.
I'll do what I can.
All right, so 3rd place finisher, Jimmy Frazier. Jimmy, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, Jimmy. So you had to use your fast repair pretty early on in this race, and unfortunately, you were able to keep the car clean after that. And really a wild race with a lot of cautions, a lot of black flags too, unfortunately. Did you feel like you were in trouble when you had to use that fast repair, or were you able to keep your mind calm and collective?
I just knew that I had to miss all the wrecks, and it really came down. There was a lot of pit strategy. I only pitted once and used one of my one set of my tires. So there towards the end, I was on like 70 lap old tires, but it didn't seem like, especially with all the cautions, it didn't seem like tires made a huge difference. But they did a little, especially with Chris getting around us there at the end and leading it. I knew he'd probably win because he had the freshest tires of me and Brian.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about too. We figured that he was going to be the car to beat at the end there, but yeah, I mean your caution, all those caution laps definitely helped with your stint on those old tires. I did see that you did run the fastest lap of the race, a 34.081. What was your strategy to try to? Well, you just said that it was to save your tires, but were you able to get a lot of speed towards the end there, or were you pretty much just trying to hang on for a top 3?
Man, in practice, I had no idea what I was doing, and I ended up. I don't think I even qualified. I qualified outside the top 10, and then as the laps went on, I started figuring it out. And a lot of guys, I was running a lot of way different line than what a lot of guys were running. They were all in the middle, and I try to keep it down at the bottom. So, I mean, I'm kind of surprised I got the fastest lap, but I was just running my race.
All yours, Josh.
Oh, sorry. I was reading something there for a second. So it looks like early on you had some incidents going on. And I know you got involved in an incident with Colt Cecil, I do believe, coming off of turn 2. Did you get much damage from that at all?
I don't believe so. I don't think I hit anything, but Cole had fresh tires because I think he was giving up. He put it under green, and I think he was just giving up. But he ended up catching me, and I was pushing a little bit hard, and I got a little loose, and he hit me. So, I mean it. And then the caution, where I had to use my fast repair, I think Jeff Gilbo started in like third gear or something and kind of messed me up, and I got under him, not trying to, but I just ended up there and got ahead of him, and I tried to slow back and got ran over from behind. So.
Well, I mean, this is your first top 3, so you definitely did something right here tonight on what seems to be a pretty complicated track. I've never ran here, so I could just imagine. But seeing how tonight's race went, it just seemed like the cars were just a complete handful.
Yeah, like a lot of guys, you could tell they were tight, and I was kind of using I was shifting in both corners. Some guys were only shifting in 1 and 2, and I was just using the shifting to kind of help the car rotate and try not to burn up the right front, because that's huge in these cars.
Well, you did a great job finishing the 3rd. While you're up here, is there anybody you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, just Chris for putting on this league, and you guys for a great broadcast.
Well, congratulations, Jimmy. Hopefully next week you can maybe get a win. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. My luck in this league, I think I might have finished outside the top 20 once besides this race, so I haven't had the best of luck.
You got plenty of time to turn it around, but congratulations, man. We hope to hear from you next week.
Thanks, guys.
3rd place finisher there, Jimmy. Now on to our 2nd place, Brian McCann, someone we're definitely not strangers of. Brian McCann, do you got a copy?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, man, what a race that was. Kind of walk us through your night.
I think me and Kevin probably had the fastest cars on the track. We just got beat on pit strategy there, made some mistakes, and also he's a little mad at me. I hit him in the rear of his car when there was a spin in front of him and gave him some damage, so that's why he dropped off a little bit there.
Yeah, you're about... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Alan.
I was just going to say, we saw during that caution when pretty much everybody else came into pit, the top 4 chose to stay out. When you saw that all those cars had fresh tires, did you figure you were in trouble, or did you think there was a good chance you were going to be able to hang on?
Yeah, no, we knew we were done at that point. I was hoping that more cars would stay out and there would be, maybe 8 cars between the new tires and us. And I knew the end was probably going to be a caution fest. So if we were just doing 3-lap stints, I could stay out front on that. But when I saw them come out of the pits and they're like 4th and 5th, I was like, oh no, we're done.
Yeah. Got a chance to talk to you before the start of this race, and you were saying that 1 and 2 were going to be where all the issues happened, but we really saw just as much, if not even more issues in 3, and especially coming out of 4. Were you kind of surprised by that, or was that kind of par for the course here?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised the official races, the turn 1 gets a lot of people. In turn 2, they'll push and hit the wall.
Yeah, say turn 3, it seemed like a lot of guys everyone just had like their own breaking points, and a lot of it, I mean, most of our cautions came from turn 3, if anything. We had a lot of self spins off of 4, but 3 itself seemed to be like the breaking point just was not working for anybody going into it. I've never raced here, so coming from someone who has no experience, what's kind of like the ideal racing line coming into it? We were wondering if the high line was competitive at all in the longer runs.
1 and 2, I think it's progressive banking, so you have to stay up on that higher side. And then 3 and 4, you want to stay, you kind of diamond 3 or 4 a little bit. And of course, on both corners, you have to shift. And also the setup was the brake bias was completely wrong. So if you didn't change that, you were going to be slow.
Well, looking at the standings coming in, Neil Quick got hit with a really weird black flag near the end of that, and that put him back all the way into 20th, and he was only about 18 points away from you, from passing you for that first place position. But looks like you're most likely going to retain that standings position in first, even with obviously Meffer winning. It's only his second race here in the league. Kind of crazy. He passes you right as soon as a caution comes out. What was going through your mind at that point?
I knew a caution was going to come out, so I was just like, stay in front. And then I think he may have had 2 or 3 pixels in front of me when the caution came out. So yeah, he got the lead there.
Well, great job here tonight, man. You got to stay out of the chaos even at the back of the pack during some of your pit stops. You finished in second place. So obviously while you're here, is there anybody you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, my dog, he watches the broadcast. He loves watching me racing.
You said your dog?
Yeah, my dog. He's a little 15-pound Chihuahua and Terrier mix.
Nice. Well, congratulations, Brian. Hopefully next week you can continue your reign here, and we'll talk to you then.
All right, thanks you.
Even when Brian doesn't win, I mean, still top 3. Dude is still absolutely killing it. But the one guy that could probably put him to rest is this man right here, Chris Medford. Your winner here tonight. Chris, you got a copy?
Absolutely.
So back-to-backs. 2 races in, 2 wins, and you did it right. You basically caught McCain at the perfect opportunity as a caution was coming out. Kind of walk us through the night through your head and let us know what was going on.
Yeah, as soon as I caught him and just got a nose ahead of him and the caution came out, it brought me right back to Dover, because that's exactly what happened at Dover. I got to him and had a nose in front of him and the caution came out. But no, the night wasn't too bad. I know those guys pitted a little bit early, and I thought it was too early to pit because we only ran like 15 laps in the green. So I stayed out until around lap 60 and a little bit more. And then I came down and pitted, and the tires weren't bad at all. And then I was trying to save and kind of went way up at the same time, and just got taken out from the rear. The guy apologized. No harm, no foul. I tried to get the damage repaired. It was only 32 seconds, but it was just so tight coming off. I think I might have had like a 5th place car at that time, and that last caution let me come down, take 4, and get my fast repair, and the rest is history.
Oh, so you actually ended up using your fast repair.
Yeah, I'd say it was just so tight. I didn't see it on my tire where it was after that contact. So we only ran 1 lap, and I came in, I said get my damage repaired, and I was already down at 98%. So I didn't think I flat spotted them, but it's hard to tell in these things. So I think the damage did hurt me a little bit. So that's why I just used that fast repair when I had the chance, because we was under like 20 laps, and I was like, well, might as well send it now.
Alan, did you have anything? I think I caught you in the middle.
No, I was just I was gonna say, I'm sure you're gonna get on me for not knowing he made his fast repair, but I stopped tracking after the last couple cautions.
Oh yeah, no, it's all good, dude. It's so hard to keep track of everything. Well, second race in, man. I mean, back-to-backs. I mean, that's highly impressive. Like I said, I think you're definitely one of the guys that's going to give McCann a run for his money. Next week, I do believe, let me just double check the schedule real quick. We are going to Indianapolis. So Indy and these cars. Oof. How are you feeling about Indy?
Tight.
Yeah.
Before they done all this, whatever, about a year and a half ago, I was actually pretty decent there. But after this new tire model and all this other fun stuff, I've just turned to junk there. I don't get the feeling like I used to anymore. I haven't ran on the new Fanatec wheel there yet, so it could very well change that. But it's going to be tough. I know you got to save your tires there, and it's so hard. It's kind of like Pocono, the same mindset. You just got to have that momentum coming off the corner. I know Brian's going to be really, really tough there.
Well, congratulations, man, doing the back-to-backs. You got Indy now, so you got something to look forward to. While you're here, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Thank you guys for not dogging me on my iRating again this week. That's greatly appreciated. Thanks for Chris Wally for putting the host up and spinning me out so I can get some new tires put on that bad boy. I give him a little crap. So thank you guys for broadcasting, Chris, for hosting, or for being an admin. I know it's a headache, and I want to apologize to all the fans watching just because I know it was a caution field race. But once we got going green, it was fun. It was challenging. You really had to race the racetrack, and it was a blast. Shout out to my Falcon Motorsports teammates on the other side, my other sponsors and my other cars, Bruzy Wastewear, Race for Riley, Turn 3 Racing Network, the Lucky Finn Foundation. So, like I said, thank you guys. I'll have to watch this a little bit later.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be exciting for sure. So, congrats again, and we'll see you next week.
Well, you guys have a good week.
Alrighty, so Chris getting it done here tonight. So far, not slowing down at all. Doing a hell of a job for sure. But interesting, to say the least. Like I said, even though it was another caution-filled type of race, it's not like it was all around bad either.
No, not by any means. And we don't usually talk about other leagues, when we're doing a race for a different league. But Josh and I had a pretty rough time Monday broadcasting a race, and so this one, even though there were a lot of cautions, it was much less dramatic, and definitely a cleaner overall race than what we had to put up with.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've had a lot of fun here. 6 races in, got a ton to go. So definitely got to give a huge shout out to Maconi Setup Shop for sponsoring tonight's race. Of course, Hydrotech PC alongside R&R Racewear and Loud Pedal Gaming. Those guys sticking with us. Hydrotech just jumping on for this race. Hopefully, he's going to be around for quite a while. Got to give a huge thank you to the series and as a whole, and IROC, Chris Wally and those guys putting it on, allowing us to come here every week and doing it. Can't thank those guys enough. And Indianapolis is next week. Looking forward to see how everything goes, and hopefully you guys will stick around with us. So again, we'll be here next Thursday. 9 p.m. Eastern is when it goes up, so make sure you share it and allow your friends to come and visit as well too. And we hope you enjoyed tonight.